Hello friends, welcome to the M.A.R.E podcast. Before we get started, you can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and YouTube. Don't forget that you can find more about the M.A.R.E project at www.marehamburg.com, and you can support the project and this podcast through Patreon. All the links are in the description. Enjoy! Dear friends of the M.A.R.E podcast, welcome to another episode. Today, I have Dimitra here with me, who is here to talk about her life so far, career so far, and her research interests. Hello, Dimitra. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello to everyone. Thank you for having me. And for sure, I was honored to receive the invitation and contribute somehow to the episodes.
Of course. Well, you have been working extensively in the Eastern Mediterranean and the Mediterranean in general, basically, the last couple of years. So eventually your name popped up on my list. So good job to you. If I found you so quickly, then you're doing something right. So, Dimitra, let's introduce you a bit. Dimitra has a degree in History and Archaeology from the National and Kapodistrian University of Athens. And then she went on to do a master's in Aix. Now we had a couple of people here who did their masters in Aix-en-Provence University, right? Yeah, something like that. So how about let's start there. How was that experience going to France, doing the masters? I know a lot of people think it's one of like the best masters in maritime archaeology out there. So how about you share your experience on that?
Yeah, actually, it was almost a one-way road to me because I knew since the beginning that I wanted to follow the studies on maritime archaeology after the degree. Unfortunately, in Athens, even now, I think there is not the specialization, but not even like classes dedicated to maritime archaeology. So I did my research like 2 years before my graduation. I started searching for masters or programs that provide you with this kind of formation. And when I checked the programs, Aix-Marseille was not one of the best, but I would say the approach that they had was like exactly what I had in mind. A lot of like practical courses and excavations projects that we could participate as students. They were focusing also on Eastern Mediterranean as well at the Amphoras studies. It really intrigued me the fact that only 8 students per year are becoming accepted. So there was an additional reason, like it was more like exclusive. So I thought that professor will pay more attention to you. And yeah, that was right at the end. For sure, it was not easy in the beginning. The language was one of the main difficulties. I had some knowledge in French, in the French language, but it's a totally different thing to move there and to have to to adapt everyday life directly and follow all the bureaucratic procedures.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But yeah, I tried, to not let these things affect my psychology. And I was super lucky because my promotion was also great. I had colleagues from Turkey, Cyprus, Spain, French colleagues as well. And apart from the typical and everyday like university life, we really got close. We found each other and we helped each other with our researches, expanding our network as well. And yeah, it was like opportunities coming and appearing all the time with people working in the same topics. Yeah, it was at the end, it was a great experience, I think.
Okay, I see that. I see how that was a great experience for you. So another question is, So did you dive before? Were you a scuba diver?
Yes, actually, when I started, realizing that this is what I want to do,
Mm.
I read a lot online, and I was asking people who were involved in scuba diving, what do I need in order to, to follow this path. So I was lucky because my first and my current instructor, which is the same person, he's remaining the same person,
Good.
was
I mean, it's just good.
yeah, was super good in his job. He's also participating in maritime projects, underwater archaeological projects, and I mean, even the first part of the underwater of the scuba diving lesson was adapted to archaeology,
Oh,
which is great. Yeah, literally, it was like from day one when you learn about buoyancy and the super basic stuff. It's like you need to know this and do it like this because in your first excavation you will have to do this and these tasks. So you really get the mentality from the beginning, and it is super helpful for
oh,
someone who wants to do this and wants to
well, yeah.
just diving, yeah, in
That
this
sounds
region.
super helpful, actually.
Yeah,
Going into the first excavation and knowing what to expect from
exactly.
like whatever's happening. That I think that's super helpful. So,
Yeah.
what was your first excavation underwater?
First excavation was actually it was not an excavation; it was a survey in Furni. It's
Mm.
a small cluster of islands located between Samos and Picaria in central eastern central Aegean. It was for sure the experience that convinced me that yeah, this is what I want to do in my life. Difficult waters, quite unstable weather, so the conditions were not super friendly. But it was a very good lesson because you really see how it's to work under these conditions, which are the normal conditions in Aegean, for example. And I got great lessons not only on archaeology and on how to work on a team, but also
Mm.
I started to learn about the limits, what I'm capable of, how to treat sites, different sites, or sites that are not very easy to approach with the vessel and the zodiacs. And so it was actually a combination of diving, archaeological knowledge, being part of a team, knowing the limits between this small team that
Yeah.
you're you have to work with for 1 month. And
Oh,
for sure, a great school in terms of amphora studies, it's my specialty. That
oh yes.
yeah, it was a huge chance, to see amphoras dating from archaic period to late Byzantine period in many different shipwrecks and places, and touch them and document them and work with them. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah. Very. I mean, the I think ev- everyone listening to this podcast is aware of Furni, the shipwrecks at Furni, and if you're not, please go check it out.
quite
Um,
famous.
yeah, they're quite famous now. I mean, how many wrecks are there now? 40? Is it like something like
And
47?
the recorded ones are 58
58.
at the
Wow.
moment, and there is still a part of the cluster that has not been surveyed yet.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's super interesting. So what I want to know is because I imagine people would be interested, not specifically in Futni, but generally in joining if people are in their undergrad. And as you said, not all universities offer classes in maritime archaeology, right? So I'm interested to know, how did you find yourself in that excavation? Did you have to contact people? Did you have to you landed there by accident? Did you know people? Like someone who is in a university and wants to join an excavation of this sort, how do they go about it? How
Mhm.
did you go about it?
So, from my experience, what I can say is that, I mean, I was lucky somehow because my scuba diving instructor knew already the director of FURNI, the chief archaeologist. So somehow uh, he sent, I sent him my CV and I said, please, if you can, forward it to
Mm.
George, that would be great. She also could, assure him that I'm capable of diving and work at the same time. I had already, I think, like 30, 40 dives before I went to the project. So it was something like a guarantee for me.
Mm-hmm.
And but still, it was tough because I had like to give a small kind of interview, and he
Mm-hmm.
tested my basic knowledge and what do I know in terms of amphoras and shipwrecks. So I think it's well, not a lot of people involving in this still, even now that there are a lot of programs and more people are starting to explore this kind of specialization. I think there is a network that can help undergraduate students to contact people who are like directing excavations or who are involved in big projects. And
Yeah.
little by little, yeah, you start to get involved in this kind of
All
things.
right. Yeah, absolutely. So the message is get out there, try, look for it, talk to people, contact people, and
Exactly.
opportunities like that do not just fall onto your feed at random. So before we go into what you're doing now, because we haven't gone there yet, I have one final question about your undergrad years. You said you knew from the beginning that you wanted to pursue maritime archaeology as a field. So I am very interested to know. It's kind of like a personal, romantic, kind of like poetic story. But like, what was it? Like, what was the point where you said, yes, oh, this is what I want to do. Like, this is it.
Actually, it's weird because I had a very good relationship with the water since age 2. I think my mother is a swimming instructor, so practically I grew up in a pool. So water was, something supernatural for me. And for sure, scuba diving is another story. Uh, Heavy equipment and gear and a lot of boxes to tick every time before, during, and after diving. But I had always, this love about water, and um, it was in my mind something like a calling for exploration. And in the
Yeah.
beginning, it was not only about archaeology. I mean, I remember myself in high school thinking about maritime biology, and
Mhm.
I was fascinated about Titanic story and what James Cameron was doing back in the days.
Oh,
I was
wow.
watching all this as a kid, and I literally had zero knowledge about about maritime archaeology as a field of research
Mhm.
until I started taking scuba diving lessons. It was
Yeah.
like totally unexplored and unknown thing for me.
Mm.
And little by little, you start talking to people, check this article, check this book, check this documentary, and for sure you realize that there are some big role models out there that you start following and see and say, I want to become like this one, or he's my, yeah, he's
All
like my
right.
dream
Yeah.
job. Yeah, it
So
was like this.
wow. So it's I mean it's a very natural response. I think quite a few people have told me, not everyone, but quite a few people have told me that you know what? I don't know what drew me to maritime archaeology other than I grew up close to the water, and somehow these can draw you into the world of whatever has to do with the sea. And I think it's a very natural response to you being like, yeah, I want to like I want to talk about the sea somehow. I want to like look more into the sea and like combining it with archaeology. But now, I mean, you gave me such a treat, so I have to like ask, who were your role models in archaeology? Like, I have to ask.
Okay, for sure, I discovered at my late years in the university Honor Frost and her story and her pioneering work back in the days. And the fact that she was a woman was also, an additional point for me. Look what she did in a period that, uh, woman had nothing to do with this kind of sports and how to say it. She was not exactly an archaeologist, but she did things much better than in comparison for some archaeologists of the time. And then for sure, Franca Sibechini, who was my tutor during the master, was also a big inspiration to me. And the thing that she was super strict with me and super demanding also gave me more and more will to continue on my studies and to continue on achieving new things and never relax at the end, because it's really a field that you it's very difficult to arrive to a point that you say, okay, now I know everything, I have conquered everything. It's if you have this kind of character, I don't recommend it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's always
absolutely.
a new challenge and to put new targets all the time, to set up new targets.
Hmm.
And other than that, I was also a big fan of some science fiction movies of James Cameron, like The Abyss, and you could also see some woman protagonists there that were like super cool divers and deep water divers. Yeah,
Nice, nice,
they were
nice. I
also
mean,
a big inspiration.
yeah. I mean, it's beautiful to see kind of like like this media kind of like creating healthy role models for people. Be like, oh my god, she's cool, and I want to be cool, and I want to
Yeah,
be. But yeah,
exactly.
yeah, you point some very important things there about like obviously when an archaeologist, especially maritime archaeologist, but really any archaeologist shows up and it's like, I actually know everything. You're like, oh yeah, that's a very bad thing to say, and that's a very bad thing to think about yourself if you like, yeah, absolutely. But okay, so let's get to the fun part, right? So right since 2023, you have been enrolled in a doctoral program, which is you are enrolled in university in Madrid, but you are based and working on a project in the Austrian Archaeological Institute in Athens, correct? So how about you tell us how that came about, this situation?
Yeah, this was totally by chance, to be honest, because I was finishing my master, and like 2 3 days, I think, before I submit my dissertation, there was an online conference on Black Sea Amphora, which was the main topic of my master dissertation. It was during COVID, so I said, okay, great opportunity that I can watch it online and see if I can, add some last moment things that will be presented at this conference. And I stayed the last day until the end of the conference. I participated somehow in the discussion, and there was Horacio Gonzalez Cesteros, who is professor in the University of Madrid right now. And we had a very good exchange with him uh, on some details about a specific category of amphora. So after some months, he wrote to me asking like, I have this project, it was approved, and I'm searching for a PhD student at a postdoc. I have informed other people too, but please fill the application. So it was something super random, and the project was also very, very interesting. So I said, okay, you don't miss something to try. So I gave it a try, and at the end, they chose me for the position. I have to admit that in the beginning, I was quite stressed because I had in mind that I will continue my research topic that I was studying in the master in the PhD level. But since the project that was already approved had a totally different topic, which it's always about amphora and exchanges and trade, but it had to do mainly with Asia Minor and the city of Athens. And so it was like totally new thing to me in terms of bibliography, and I had to fill a huge gap that, in the beginning, I wasn't sure that I could manage and do, but yeah, it takes patience, time.
Yeah. But here you are doing it. I mean, you say it happened by accident, but what I'm listening is that you, because you like what you're doing, joined a conference and then spoke to someone and made such an impression that someone emailed you about this position. So you say it's chance, but I mean, it's not fully chance. Like, yeah, I feel like you did it. You absolutely did it. Went out there and tried it, and that happened. That's great. But also, you're talking about how you need to kind of switch, and how that switch needs patience. And I think that's another important detail that people should keep in mind, that sometimes PhD topics are not the same as a master's thesis, and you need to get out of your comfort zone sometimes, to find things that are good and things that work out, and you need to be like brave and patient to do it and go and try it. So you're a living example of this exact thing. So let's delve a bit deeper here about. Do you want to talk to us about the project? What are you working on specifically? What's the project? What is it about? What's the end goals? What's the goals of it?
Sure. Just a small parenthesis to add something on what you said, that, yeah, it's good to realize, especially this early career levels, that it is, I would not say impossible, but super rare to have the opportunity to do one specific topic from the super early years of your career up to postdoc level. And in the beginning, I saw this as something bad, like, oh my God, I have to start from the beginning. What I will do now? All my previous job, is now, I have to close it in a wardrobe and never touch it again. But I realized that it's a matter of perspective. I had the chance, to study some things that were super new for me, but I learned a lot. I even have much better ideas right now from my previous topic, and I gained a much better general idea of my studies. So it's bad, to get stuck on one thing and close your eyes to everything else that doesn't seem appropriate to what we're doing, or even close. So yeah, keep your eyes open and combine different things. So
It's a
now,
beautiful thing. Yeah.
about the project. The project is called Crossing the Sea, and it's about actually imports of Asia Minor pottery in Athens from late Hellenistic to late Roman period, early Byzantine period. And it's quite vast in terms of the chronological frame that it covers and of material. Because for sure Asia Minor was a very important geographical region, especially for the Roman and late Roman times, even in Byzantine period as well. And the study is mainly focusing on pottery. The main case studies is the city of Ephesus, a metropolis during the Roman period, a commercial hub, a very important site in terms of administration, political events, and also commercial networks. And what we're trying now to understand is which commodities and when and in how to say it, which commodities when and with what, let's say, in what quantities they were exported from Asia Minor towards the city of Athens. Athens for sure was remaining a very important city during the Roman and late Roman period. And what we try now to see is, to realize which were exactly the dynamics between these two regions, and also how the political and the social changes affected somehow the commercial relationships. If there were any specific taste or preferences for specific products that the Athenians were imported from Asia Minor. And these interregion connections and exchanges is something that is surprisingly remains little studied, because already after 2 years we can see that the idea of the first contacts are somehow changing. Already we have a lot of imported agricultural commodities imported in Athens from the late 2nd century BC that were produced in Ephesus. And it is something that for the moment was totally unknown. We knew that big islands and centers like Kos or Rhodes were, major players in this kind of exchanges. But now we see that Ephesus already from this early period starts to have a more central role in sending products to Athens. And we try now, to put on this piece of the puzzle, which is pottery, in the bigger image, and realize what actually the pottery can say about the true relationships and contacts between these two big cities. How social and political transformations affected these contacts, and what other, products other than pottery were part of these exchanges, like marble, because Asia Minor was also very important in terms of marble production and export. And it is very interesting to see it from a long durée perspective. Like we start from the late Hellenistic period, then we move to the Roman provincial reality, which covers at least 3 to 4 centuries, and finally went up to the city of Ephesus as an important center of Christianity. So what is obvious from a first glance is that even though we have all these changes and these shifts in administrative and political factors, there is a continuity in relationships, in contacts, in different terms probably, but products continue to move around.
Interesting. Yeah, so very interesting, and I'm very curious about what you find. I did look up the project a bit on the internet, and I've read some things that I would like to ask you about. For example, in the website of the Austrian Archaeological Institute, it says that about the products that were exported to Athens. It talks about export-oriented manufacturers of cooking wares in the Roman imperial period. And that struck me kind of like, why would they export cooking ware? I mean, I get the tableware, that is something, and a commodity, something nice, something fancy, and you want it. But why would you export cooking ware and import it in Athens?
Yeah,
I don't know if you know the answer.
that's quite interesting, and for sure, I would have to say that Athens in Hellenistic and Roman period, for sure, had a huge production of wares.
Oh, by the way, sorry, excuse me. Before you continue, can you explain to us what cooking ware is and what tableware is? Because I'm throwing terms around. And
Yeah,
then
I mean,
please continue.
we need a second podcast for this Athens
Very quickly,
because
in one sentence.
no, okay, tableware is a general term that usually archaeologists are using to describe something that is for serving on the table, like plates or jugs and this kind of things. So cookingware is everything that is used for the preparation of food, like pans, casseroles, marmites, these kind of things. And they're quite distinguished because they are made usually from a very rough and rough clay full of inclusions because they are used on fire, so they have to be resistant. And yeah, this is the main difference.
Okay, clear. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to like, why did Athens import cooking ware in the Roman imperial period?
So in the Roman imperial period, we don't know yet. Actually, as I said before, it is a place where cooking wares were locally produced, and it was the Athenian, let's say, tradition of cooking wares is related to the island of Aegina, where there was also a huge production of cooking wares. But during the late Roman period, the region of Phocaea, particularly, which is located in the not exactly north, but let's say it's northern than Ephesus, but we can place it generally in the northern part of Asia Minor coast, becomes the main place of fineware production, what is called late Roman Sea, and also cookingware, the so-called Phocian cookingware. So what we can see from the material that we study is that it becomes a super popular product. And I don't think that we have to face, how to say, pottery productions as a matter of needs. What I want to say is that doesn't mean that a place that is producing a specific kind of vessel stays with it. It doesn't import other things from far away. And we can see it also on amphoras that you have like Ephesian amphoras exported in India. And on the first page, you think, why? Why people from India need agricultural products from Ephesus? So it's also, I think, a matter of fashion on, what is widely accepted and popular at a specific time. And we have also to think about not only products are moving, people are also moving. So for sure, if you have pottery in small quantities in a place, it doesn't mean that it was necessarily imported. Maybe someone brought it with him. But cooking vessels and some fine wares that are produced in Asia Minor during late antiquity are for sure very, very popular. And we know that they were largely exported, even in regions like Spain, which is a long way.
Well, that's very, very interesting. Thank you. I mean, I'm partly excited to see what this project bears, like the results of this project, because it all sounds very interesting. So I want to thank you now for being with me today and doing this podcast and explaining to our audience about your career so far, your studies so far, and a little bit about what you're working on and what you like. So I will invite the people listening to go and check out this project, Crossing the Sea, Pottery from Asia Minor in Athens. It looks super interesting. And do you have any closing remarks for the people listening? Anything you want to say?
And okay. I mean, I don't know. I would say that for me, archaeology, it's more something like a big law of my life than and work and to face it as a job comes in a second phase. I think I know that sometimes the work can be tough and job opportunities sometimes seem to be not enough for all the archaeologists out there. But yeah, don't quit and don't be shy and contact people and reach people out there, because this is how you build a network, you get in touch with people that can find you a post or propose you something and be open to opportunities. Yeah, this would be
Oh
my
yeah,
suggestion at the end.
that was beautiful. Thank you very much for being with me. Thank you everyone for listening, and I'll see you all in the next episode.